Keno, kamere, nacao, by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, official name Upadesha Song 19, from the book Kalyana Kalpataru. It's in Bengali language. Anybody, Pragnesh, you speak some Bengalis, and that is your time. Okay. So let me see how I can advance that slideshow. Yes, should be okay like that. Keno kamere nacao prema prei. Keno kamere nacao prema prei. Charma mamsamoi kama. Charma mamsamoi kama. Chara shukha pirama. Chara bishyate Sathade. Chara sukha apirama. Chara bishyate sathade. So, can someone read the translation? How is that, Pragnesh?
Haribol Prabhu, let me try. Tell me why, my dear mind, why are you focused? Why are you focused to dance my lust? And why do you think that such dancing is Krishna conscious? Your lust is simply abiding in skin and meat, abounding in skin and meat, and you are addicted to non-stop material sense gratification. Thus, you factually spend your time in running here and there and chasing after worldly sense objects.
Thank you very much, Pragnesh. Your audio is absolutely awful. It breaks up a million times in between. We hardly can make out anything you are saying. So you're on a bad Wi-Fi or something happened. Never mind. Prakash, you read the next translation when we come to it. Chipe Svarup Dharma, Chit Svarup Prema Marma, Tahabhishyate Matra Hari. Chipe Svarupa Dharma, Chit Svarupa Prema Marma, Tahabhishya Matra Hari. Kama aparane hoy, Prema eba supta pre, Prema chago, Kama dura kori. Kama aparane hoy, Prema eba supta pre, Prema chago kama duri kori. And Prakash, can you read us the translation of text number 2? The soul's original eternal nature.
Nature is a pure love with the end. My English is not perfect, Prabhuji.
Shraddha hoida sadhu sange, pachane kriya range, nishtaruchi asakti utoy. Shraddha hoida sadhu sange, pachane kriya range, nishtaruchi asakti utoy. Asakti hoite bhava, tahe prema bhadurbhava. Ekrame prema upachoy, Asakti hoite bhava, tahe prema pradubhava, ekrame prema upajoy. Only the following sequence, in the following sequence, does pure love for Krishna awaken. First, one develops shraddha, faith, in the process of Krishna consciousness. Then, due to that faith, one becomes enthusiastic for sadhu sangha, the association of devotees, like we have tonight. Then, by performance of bhajana kriya, devotional worship, in the company of devotees, there awakens nishtha, steadiness in service. Then ruchi, taste. Then asakti, attachment to the Lord. This attachment then gives rise to bhava, genuine ecstatic emotions, from which prema, pure love for Krishna, manifests its reawakening. Only in this sequence does prema come into being. So here we're getting the sequence of devotional service. Text 4. Ihate chatana cha se pe prema sa kramatyake prema nahi chage. Ekrama satane bhoi keno koradura soy kame prema kapu nahilage. One who endeavors for this bona fide process gets the essence of pure ecstatic love for Krishna. One who neglects the proper order of this procedure does not experience a reawakening of pure prema. Prema, of course, means love. We all after love. But this love which we after, that is not satisfying love we're speaking here. This is a much superior happiness. My dear mind, why are you maintaining the wicked mentality of apprehension and fear of this bona fide method of devotional practice? By cultivation of your lust in this mundane sphere, you will never be able to touch upon genuine ecstatic love for Krishna. Natakabhinoi pray, sakapata prema pe, tahematra indriya santosha, indriya toshana cha, satakore pariha, charobai aparata dosha. So by the likes of your dramatic performance in dancing in lust, you think that this is indicative of your prema, but it is actually deceptive, faint imitation of prema. Thus, your whole process is simply gross sense gratification. My dear brother, always reject such degraded, contemptible sense gratification, casting out this grave offense to the Lord. Okay, that was our bhajan at the beginning. Now a few things I would like to bring up. So let's see what we have here. Last time, we spoke a little bit about how time flies by. And how we find ourselves in a situation where we seem to not have time for spiritual performances, for our real need of the soul. We are not in pure consciousness. unfortunately. We are in material consciousness, but there is a way how to get to spiritual consciousness. And that is a way of our endeavors to get to spiritual consciousness. A devotee who serves Krishna in order to satisfy selfish desires is called a sakama bhakta. So even a devotee can engage in Krishna service, but has still some selfish desires. So that is a sakama bhakta. One who purely serves without such desires is an akama devotee. So these are some distinctions. I'm looking actually for something I could read to you. Okay, here's a very nice story. Perhaps that will. Oh, these are all YouTube videos. No, that will not help. Okay, here is a very nice story for my dear friend Svarup. Chewing the Chute, it is called. So following conversation between His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and some of his disciples took place in May 74 during a morning walk in Rome. Srila Prabhupada speaking. Life after life, people are simply trying to enjoy their senses. Life after life, the same thing over and over again. The same eating, the same sleeping, the same sexual intercourse, and the same defending, either as man or as dog. Again and again, chewing the chute, whether you become a demigod or a dog. In the material world, everyone is giving the facility for these four things: eating, sleeping, having sexual intercourse, and defending. And then we see nowadays that is what the whole world is about. That's what everybody is, in more gross or in subtle ways. Everybody is after these four things of eating, sleeping, sex, and fighting. Actually, if some danger were to come now, we humans might be victims, but the bird would immediately fly away. So the bird has far better facility for defense, is it not? Suppose all of a sudden a car comes directly at us. We would be killed. We could not do anything. But even the smallest bird, hoot, I'm leaving, he can do that. Is it not? His defensive measures are better than ours. Similarly, if we wanted to have sex, we would have to arrange for it, find out some mate and a suitable time and place. But the female bird is always around the male bird at any time, takes a sparrow, takes a pigeon. Have you seen? Immediately they are ready for sex. And what does the bird do about eating? Oh, there is some fruit. Immediately the bird can eat. And sleeping is also easy and convenient. These facilities, don't think they are available only in your skyscrapers. They are available for the birds and the beasts. It is not that unless you have got a very nice apartment in the skyscraper, you cannot have all these facilities of eating, sleeping, defending, and having sex. You can have them in any material body, in any species. It means the facilities for material sense enjoyment. Our process is Vishaya Chadiya. One has to give up this unsatisfying material enjoyment and relish transcendental bliss, the taste of spiritual enjoyment. It is enjoyment on a different platform. So we all can relate to that. It is not satisfying. We may say there is some satisfaction. Some satisfaction, it doesn't last very long. So some satisfaction may be there, but then it either turns sour, it is just not satisfying deep down in the heart. Why else would we go after the sense pleasures again and again and again and again? Because we are hoping, hope against hope, said maybe this time I will be fully satisfied. But it is not possible. But here we hearing Srila Prabhupada speaking about the taste of spiritual enjoyment. We may not know what spiritual enjoyment is, but there is spiritual enjoyment. But we have to be trained in that spiritual enjoyment. It is enjoyment on a different platform. So we have to learn how to go to this different platform of spiritual enjoyment. And then, Pragnesh is gone. On that different platform of spiritual enjoyment, then we can really enjoy. We can really feel happy, a happiness we otherwise it awaits us. Okay, Hare Krishna. Let's go a little bit further. But today, welcome back, Pragnesh. I thought you found it boring and you disappeared, but obviously not. Obviously not. So everybody, I was in town today, and everybody is so busy. Christmas, Christmas. People don't know what is the goal of life. People want to be happy. People want to enjoy it. Otherwise, there was music in town. Some played some nice Christmas songs, and with a trumpet and some backing track, and other people rushing around and buying and buying and buying gifts and Christmas trees and spending so much money. And in a few days, it's all over. And then there is the emptiness in the mind, the emptiness in the heart, and the emptiness in the pocket also. Because after Christmas, there's a big plunge in the pocket. The pocket is empty too. So that is very unfortunate. But people don't know how to enjoy. People don't know how to be happy. We here may have some idea how to enjoy on the spiritual platform, how to become happy on the spiritual platform. The secret, what is the secret? How to? I mean, we all busy by self-created duties. We have created these duties for ourselves, and we're running behind these duties and thinking, I have to do this, I have to do that. And we have created these duties, these entanglements. Actually, our real duty is to connect everything to Krishna. Everything. That is our real duty. Because if we fail to connect everything to Krishna, then we'll take another birth. There's no question about it. And that birth may be in 4,800,000 species of life. Where's the guarantee that we will go in another human body? There's no guarantee. Material nature is very tricky. If we haven't developed our original consciousness, then there is no guarantee. Then we may make so many arrangements in this lifetime for all kind of, we may have the biggest bank account, we have very nice facility for enjoyment, nice family, nice wife, but in the next lifetime, if you become a dog, a cat, a pig, or whichever animal species, what is the use of it all? Wouldn't it be wise if we made some preparations? Even in this lifetime, we make preparations. People have a home contents insurance, right? I'm sure, Pragnesh, you have a home contents insurance because you went long time back. You had some some burglary, and that was a very, very unpleasant thing. Very unpleasant. So people have home contents insurance. People have life insurance. So many insurances. But we have no insurance of what birth we're taking in the next time around. So wouldn't it be wise we make some arrangements for that insurance too? And there's a process to get this insurance. There is a definite process. Krishna teaches a process in Bhagavad Gita. How to ensure at least we get another human form of life. And even if we very, very fortunate to, after quitting this body, we go into the higher planets. Yeah, higher planets. Yogis can travel all over. They can travel up to Brahmaloka. They can travel up to Mahaloka, Tapaloka. And then when the time of devastation comes, they can move to Vaikuntha, to the spiritual world. But we can, by pious activities, we can attain Svargaloka, and many, many, many. Maybe any here tonight, I don't know. Pragnesh, what you're aspiring for? If you're aspiring for higher planetary systems with a huge potential of enjoyment. No comparison to here. And by pious activity, you are a pious man. You're helping in the Food for Life, and you're doing so many wonderful things, more than pious even, devotional activities. But even if it's just pious activities, being a good person, then we may have the opportunity to enjoy in Svargaloka, Lord Indra's planet. But then again, that is not a permanent situation either. Because when our pious credits are exhausted, we're coming back here to this material world, to Martyaloka. This planet is called Martyaloka. Martya means the place of death. Because we'll have to die. In Svargaloka, we live for 100,000 years. A long time. But here, 100 years to the most. Look now, I'm 71. This coming year will be 72, and before you know, will be 75, 80, and then it's time to go. So, both of you are a little bit younger. So you get a few more extra years. But the time passing by very quickly. A lifetime. I'm looking back. Where have these 71 years gone? I remember very well, I was a small boy, careless, carefree, enjoying, roaming in nature, in the countryside with my friends. Beautiful. And then schooling started, and so on. So it disappeared. All this, it just appears like it was yesterday. How did it happen? 70 years passed by. How did it happen? I don't know. It just happened like that. And another 10 years also passed by, and a lifetime passes by. A lifetime passes by. Now, with 70, even with 50, when 50, old age starts. So then we're counting backwards. We're not counting happy birthday to you. Okay, 71, 72. No, we're counting backwards. Backwards to leaving this material body. At young age, we're counting 21, 22, 23. And from 50, maximum, we have a lifespan of 100. Most don't reach that. Maximum. So from 50 onwards, we're counting 49, 48, 47, 46. Then we come to 20, 19, 18. Then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Boom! We kicked out. We kicked out of this body. And we may not have the opportunity. Krishna says in the Gita, whoever thinks of me at the time of death will come to me. But how can we think of Krishna at the time of death? Death is described in very horrible terms. There is excessive heat alternating with excessive cold. Heat, cold, we are pushed out, we are thrown out of this body. We won't leave this body voluntarily. No. By so many bodily symptoms and pains, and naturally the mind is also completely bewildered. So how can we think of Krishna at this time when all bodily functions breaking down? It's impossible if we are not trained to do so. If we are trained to do so, and it needs training, and that training is happening in the association of devotees. Then this kind of training, but we are too busy. We are so busy. We don't take to sadhu sangha, even though sadhu sangha, the association of devotees, is the most important thing. That's the beginning. If there's a little bit of faith, and after that faith, it comes sadhu sangha, association of devotees. And then we're developing our spiritual life. The spiritual life is already within us. It's already there. But we're uncovering it. We are covered over by dog's body, by cat's body, by human body. It's covered over. Inside we are eternal spirit, soul, and always blissful. So we should take this not only to the life insurance, home contents insurance, car insurance, we should take to our self-insurance of our spiritual self and ensure we will not take another birth. It can be done. That can be done to develop to get insured of not taking another birth. Now we might think, well, taking another birth, that's far away. Not far away. 50 onwards, counting backwards until 0. Not far away. Half lifetime, less than half. How many people reaching 100 these days? Not very many. Most leaving this body with 70, 80, that's it. So it's a serious business, and we don't take it serious, and we'll have to come back. And if you have to come back and we'll get the good chance of another human body, then okay, lesson again. Same lesson again. In Germany, in France, other countries, not here in England, if we don't perform well in school, we're just fooling around, we are distracted, we don't do our homework, we don't pass the tests, the exams, then in these countries, in European countries, you have to do the year again. Not nice to do the year again. In England, you just move on, but other countries, European countries, you have to do the year again. So you do the year again, the same topics, the same subject matters, the same math, the same English, German, French, whichever, the same geography, the same history. We heard it already, but we haven't paid attention. We haven't focused. And not only that, we are with a whole year of younger students, 1 year younger than us, and everybody knows, oh, you have to do the year again. It's not very nice experience. So that is our experience also. If we don't reach at least Vaikuntha, we don't reach the spiritual world after quitting this body, we have to do the year again. And not only do the year again and again and again and again. The same lessons, the very same lessons. Maybe we get the opportunity in next lifetime to associate with sadhu sangha. And maybe if we are very fortunate, we have accumulated a little bit of some credits in this lifetime, maybe then we find some attachment and we'll take spiritual life seriously. We take that spiritual insurance. And what to speak of? What situation are we coming back? We are in Kali Yuga now. So one generation from now, so it brings us up to what we have now, 2020. That brings us 100 years ahead. So now we have the first effects of climate change and pollution, extinction of species and all of that. If we take another birth, we'll be in a really bad situation. If we take another birth, we'll be even worse and even worse. And there will be no food, there will be no water, and it will be just very terrible. Do we really want to take a birth into such a situation? No, we don't. The urgency to get out now in this lifetime, that is very great. Okay, here we stop. We just talked a little bit and waiting for Rashmi. Welcome, Rashmi. Hare Krishna. Amit, there were apologies to all the group. Prakash, Hare Krishna. Yes, Rashmi comes, you go. Hare Krishna. You take care. So, Ben, we haven't heard anything from Ben. And Vashana, also not. Vashana was yesterday here addressing the deities. Haribo, beautiful. I'll put some pictures up. Tomorrow I'll take some pictures. Very nice, very nice. So there is one chat here. Hare Krishna, that was Prakash, okay. Nalini Mataji, is it possible? I thought you have gone home to the spiritual world. You are still here.
I could, Prabhuji. I wish I could, but I had visitors at my house. They've just left, so I was trying to hint that I've got a session, but you know.
So your audio is also breaking up. Maybe we have a problem on my side. So give me a minute. I will unplug my audio and plug it back in. So maybe set it better. Unplug the audio and back in. Nalini Mataji, can you say again something?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, that is a very nice sound
you can hear
now.
Properly, Prabhuji, you can hear. Okay.
I can hear properly. And maybe, Pragnesh, we can hear you properly as well. Anyway, it is very nice to have you here. Hare Krishna. Let's go to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Where are we in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? Text 30. Right? I will put it in the chat. And then we'll take it from there. Chat. And I would like to ask Rashmi to read us text 30, please. Okay, for everyone. So here it is in the chat, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 11th chapter, text 30.
Prabhuji, can you excuse me today? I've got a very bad headache, so I just want to listen rather than actively participate.
Okay.
Is that
what
okay,
about,
please?
Yes, of course, it's okay. What about Pragnesh? Can we hear your microphone? No, you don't like to be called up like that. I remember now. No, we won't do that. We won't put you on the spot. But what Nalini Mataji?
Yeah, I'll try, Prabhuji.
You like to speak. Yes. Okay, here you go. Nalini Mataji, the microphone is all yours now. Text 30. And if you don't mind, I will correct you on the Sanskrit at least. Are you ready? Atavishat. You have to unmute your microphone, Nalini Mataji.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, Prabhuji.
So start again.
Okay. Atha vistat swabhavanam sarvakamam anuthamam prasadayatra patini nam sahasrani cha sodasa. Okay.
Yes, very nice. Translation.
Thereafter, the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000. Purport. Lord Krishna had 16,108 wives, and for each and every one of them, there was a fully equipped palace, complete with necessary compounds and gardens. Full description of these palaces is given in the 10th canto. All the palaces were made of the best marble stone. They were illuminated by jewels and decorated by curtains and carpets of velvet and silk, nicely bedecked and embroidered with gold lace. The personality of Godhead means one who is full with all power, all energy, all opulences, all beauties, all knowledge, and all renunciation. Therefore, in the palaces of the Lord, there was nothing wanting for fulfilling all desires of the Lord. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited, and the supply is also unlimited. Everything being unlimited, it is concisely described here as sarva kamamam, or full with all desirable equipment.
Yes, thank you. Sarva kamam. Yes. Yes, here we hear. It is
Prabhuji,
beautiful.
Can I say that again? Sarva kamam.
Kamam, yes.
Sarva kamam. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Yes, we hear here that over 16,000 palaces. So how can Krishna, one could ask, how can Krishna have 16,000 palaces and 16,000 wives? Some may even find, we touched on that previously, said Krishna has 16,000 wives. Oh, how can that be? These were all composed of different categories of ladies. Some of them were adopted by a demon, captured by a demon, and they prayed for deliverance, and Krishna killed that demon and delivered them. And then they say, this lady said, we have no other shelters than you. Please accept us. So Krishna accepts his devotees as wives, as friends, as parents, as whichever. So Krishna reciprocates. So then he had 16,000 wives. So he needed 16,000 palaces. But it is not that each queen has to wait 16,000 days that Krishna comes and in their company. No, not like that. That is material calculation. Krishna expanded himself 16,000 times. He was simultaneously there at 16,000 palaces with his 16,000 wives. This is God. This is God. Yogis have also said mystic power. They can expand themselves 8 times. But 8 different expansions a yogi can manifest, all these expansions doing exactly the same thing, like a shadow moves with a body. But that was not the case with Krishna in his 16,000 palaces with his 16,000 queens. Because how do we know? Because Narada Muni, he went to visit the palaces. Some of them, probably not all 16,000, some of them, randomly. And he saw Krishna is doing different things in his different palaces at the same time. So it wasn't like a yogic expansion and like a shadow moving with an actual form. It was actually independent manifestations, expansions of the Lord, acting independently. While in one palace, Krishna was eating, in another palace, Krishna was resting, and so on and so on. So this is the wonderful ability of the Lord to have, he lived with them with 16,000 wives. Over 16,000, 16,108 we usually say. So these are the power of the Lord, the power of God. Materialistic people cannot understand that. They think, oh, this is all fairy tale. No, it is not. Let's go ahead. If anybody has any question, you can raise your hand or just speak out. And we'll try to answer any questions. Any questions? If not, we'll move on. Next verse, which is 31. I will take that on. Padnya patim proshya krihanupagatam vilogya zanchata manomahotssavaha Utastur arad sahasasanashayat sakamradairvritita lochananaha. The queens, translation. The queens of Lord Sri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband home after long period abroad. Long period abroad means, where have Krishna been? For a long period, he was with Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So that took some time. And then he spent some time, we heard it all in the Bhagavatam, he spent some time with the Pandavas and he wanted to leave, and Yudhishthira implored him, please stay a few days more. So time passed by. So therefore, here the Bhagavatam says, after a long period, he came home. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was socially customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As mentioned above, the Lord entered his home palaces occupied by 16,108 queens. This means that the Lord at once expanded himself in as many plenary expansions as there were queens and palaces, and entered in each and every one of them simultaneously and separately. Here is another manifestation of the feature of his internal potency. Of course, Krishna has many potencies, many opulences, many potencies. We know from Bhagavad Gita also. There's a whole chapter, the opulences of the Lord. So the Lord has his external energy, which is his material energy, which we are struggling with. His material energy, which we are trying to enjoy. This material energy, if we're trying to enjoy this material energy, then we are thieves, punishable, actually. We are thieves. We think, oh, God has given us this material world to enjoy. No, he has not. It's his property. If we go next door neighbor and we'll just use his car, and we say, oh, I have been given this car for my enjoyment, the neighbor will say, no, it's my car. So here, that is Krishna's energy. We haven't made it. We haven't made the foodstuff we're tasting. We haven't made the object we're seeing. We haven't made the objects which produce sound and we can hear. We haven't made the objects we can touch and feel nice. We haven't made any of that. Krishna made it. It's his property. So what should be done? Should we just take it? Then we become thieves and we are punishable by the law of karma. And we wonder why bad things happen to us. Nobody wants bad things happen to us, but they do happen to us. But why? Because if we're just taking these things without consideration, without even a thought, they are Krishna's. That's one thing. If we at least remember, these are Krishna's, and we say a little prayer, oh Krishna, thank you. We are your sons, and you have left us some heritage. We are entitled actually to that heritage, but not if we forget about the Lord. Then we are punishable by karma and repeated birth and death again and again and again. So what are we supposed to do? That is a question. iPhone 7. Rakal, how is it possible? Rakal, you came this evening. That is absolutely most amazing. I don't know if you know my dear friend Rakal from Loughborough. He is a wonderful devotee. He is fasting on each Ekadashi, full fast, not just beans and grains. And no, he has and is supporting the Hare Krishna Center for many, many, many years. And gone he is. He just tried it out. He got scared. Hare Krishna, maybe he comes back. So, what are we supposed to do with this material energy other than enjoying it? We are supposed to offer it back to the Lord. How can we do that? We all know when we go to Bharat, we'll want to take a bath in the Ganges. What we do, any cultured person will take water in his stand half to the waist in the water of the Ganges, take water in your two palms from the Ganga and offer it back to the Ganga with some prayers. So that is exactly, it's water from the Ganga. She doesn't need that water. She is full of that water. And we offer that water back to Mother Ganga. That's a proper procedure by which we get our blessings. So it's the same we do with the Lord. Whatever we find ourselves surrounded by our good karma, whatever facilities we have, we offer it back to the Lord. Let's take the obvious one, food stuff. We're not just going and eating, just it's on our plate and immediately we'll eat in a very unconscious way. Oh, nice food. We just tuck into it straight away. Or go to the restaurant and immediately, no. We'll take a minute and remember where that food is coming from. That's the Lord's food. So just like with the Ganga water, we offer it back to the Ganga, we say a little prayer. We offer that food to the Lord. In the temple, we have elaborate mantras to offer that. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya, Namaste Saraswati, Namo Mahavedanyaya Krishna Prema Padaya Te Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Guru Tvishnaham Tvishnamaha, Namo Brahmanya Deva Ego Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. These mantras we recite in the temple. The food is on the plate. It has been prepared without tasting it. Because, if we are serious, we want to offer Krishna something, we don't taste it. Like with the Ganga. We take water from the Ganga and then we drink out of our palms and the rest we offer back to the Ganga. Our prasadam we offer back to the... No, that is not very nice. We don't do that. So it's the same with the food. It's not we tasting it and then we offer it to the Lord. Because Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. He is the first enjoyer. Everything first to him. We have to put Krishna first. If we taste it during the cooking, we're taking ourselves first in a very selfish way. So we don't taste the food, not even if there is enough salt in the preparation. And then we offer it to the Lord, and then usually he gives it back to us. Usually. It doesn't
can I ask something?
Yes, please. I cannot see your hand rising because I'm on a different screen. Okay, go ahead.
So, if your intention of when you're preparing the food and you're tasting it, your intention is not to enjoy it. Your intention is to check the salt or the spice or whatever. So that is right. And then you offer it. So your intention is correct. So how does it, it is not for, it's not really enjoyment. So how does it
That
matter?
is a very, very high level of Krishna consciousness. And there's a very nice story of one going back to South India to probably Ramanujacharya. There was one disciple, he was supposed to make the guru's bed nicely for the night. So one day some devotee came in and he saw that devotee was lying on the guru's bed. Don't do that. It's just like there's a Vyasa-san of Srila Prabhupada and we're just sitting on it. We don't do that. And he was lying. And the other devotee was horrified. What are you doing? You're enjoying the guru's bedstead. I mean, and then the devotee very humbly explained, no, it's not like you think. I just make sure the bed is very nicely arranged. It is very soft. Everything is nice for my guru's enjoyment. Well, that is a very different level, isn't it? That is all fully in pure devotional service for the Lord. So, but channel, we don't do that. If you have set mood and set consciousness, that is a different story. It's a very, very advanced stage. Better for us in our not so advanced stage. We don't taste it. We just put by experience amount of salt, rather a bit less than too much. We can also add some salt later on. Then we offer it. And generally speaking, when we have offered it to the Lord and the prasadam comes back, and it's just the right amount of salt is in. Does that satisfy your question, Rashmi? I hope so.
Yes, Prabhuji, it satisfies me. But, sometimes like if you have invited 10, 12 devotees to your house and you're making a sweet dish or something, then it is very important that you taste it. You can't have 10, 12 devotees come and then you're adding it afterwards. You can't do it. It's impossible.
No, they're cooking for hundreds and thousands of people without tasting. That's a standard practice. Hundreds and thousands of people without tasting. And the prasadam will be just right afterwards. So if Parashuram can do that, and if others can do that, and if Chuhu temple can do that, in Mayapur, in Vrindavan they can do it, we certainly can do it in our little home. I never taste while cooking. Never, ever. It doesn't even come to my mind. And the salt, everything is just right. I got some experience. I always cooking the same quantity, of course. But even if you cook larger quantities, when devotees come into your house, and then you just get some feel of rather being on the less side, because you can always serve some salt aside. And if it's not salty enough, then, and people have different tastes of salt as well. Some like it more salty, some less. So less is always better. Better for the health, better for the heart, in every respect. Okay. So back to the Bhagavatam. We offer everything. So Krishna has this different manifestation, different features, his internal energy, his external energy. We just spoke about the external, the Maya. That's his external energy, which is not for us to enjoy, which is for us to give it back to the Lord. And then we can enjoy. So putting everything, all things in this material world which come to us due to our good karma, we and be connecting that with the Lord, then it will become spiritualized, everything, at any moment. But Krishna has also his internal energy. Here, Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport, here is another manifestation of the feature of his internal potency. So this internal potency, Krishna expands himself into all the queen's palaces and in his multiple forms to satisfy everyone. And that is not a very difficult thing, that Krishna expands himself actually in these many forms, because we are also expansions of the Lord. And so he expands himself in all living entities, but we are further down the line. So let's carry on. He can expand himself, Krishna, in as many forms of spiritual identity as he desires. Even so, he is one without a second. It is confirmed by the Shruti mantra that the Absolute is one only, and yet he becomes many as soon as he so desires. This manifold expansion of the Supreme Lord are manifested as plenary and separated portions. The separated portions are representations of his energy, and the plenary portions are manifestations of his personality. So, as just explained, some are a little bit closer, direct, and some are indirect. We are some indirect expansions. Thus, the personality of God had manifested himself in 16,108 plenary expansions, direct expansion, and simultaneously entered into each and every one of the palaces of the queens. It's also very interesting here. Srila Prabhupada is not said he entered in his palaces. He entered in the palaces of his queens. There were the queens' palaces. This is called Vaibhava, or the transcendental potency of the Lord. And because he can do so, he is also known as Yogeshvara, the master of all mystic. Ordinarily, a yogi, a mystic, living being is able to expand himself utmost to tenfold expansion of his body. I said 8 before, that was not right. So we'll get 2 more. 10 expansion or yogi or mystic. But the Lord can do so to the extent of as many thousands or indefinitely as he likes. Unbelievers become astonished to learn that Lord Krishna married more than 16,000 queens because they think the Lord Krishna as one of them and measures the potency of the Lord by their own limited potency. That is a problem. If we think Krishna is just one like us, just because he appeared with 2 hands and 1 head and 2 legs and so on, just like human-like, then we are completely misunderstanding everything. And that conception is very often like that. Vashana Mataji is here. Look at that. Late, but never too late.
Hare
Welcome, Hare Krishna. I just explained before that you were yesterday here and dressed the Lord so beautiful and nicely. I have not taken a picture yet. I will do so tomorrow in the daylight. I'll make that available. And they're looking absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you again, Hare Krishna. And that will be a regular occurrence from now on. And we have made all necessary arrangements regarding COVID and whatsoever. So, yes, thank you for popping in. And we carry on with the purport to text 31. I will post it for you, Vashana Mataji, in the chat again. Here it is text 30, just move on another text. and then you are on the same page as we are. So we just explained, people with a poor fund of knowledge, they think because the Lord appears like a human being, he is a human being. And I have heard that many times. The idea is that when Krishna is in his own spiritual atmosphere, then he has a spiritual form. And when he comes in this material world, he takes on a material form. This is a misconception. If Krishna had just a material form, then how come he can expand himself over 16,000 times? He can lift Govardhan Hill, he can kill the demons and doing so many wonderful things. No one of us can do that. But that is people's conception because they have no idea of spiritual form and material form. Spiritual form is unlimited. And when we are in the spiritual world, when we have gone home back to Godhead, we can do so many things. We can be present, and also we can expand ourselves. There are examples in the scriptures that some devotees, they are present in Goloka and they're present in Vaikuntha as well. Why not? Simultaneously. So we cannot even imagine how, once we get a spiritual body, what we can do. We don't have to eat anymore. So much time is wasted by eating. Of course, we enjoy our food. But in the spiritual world, you can eat and enjoy the food or not, but you don't have to eat. And so many other things. We are totally free. We can accomplish things just by thinking of it. We can communicate just by thinking. And the whole atmosphere is permeated with love. There is nothing else than love. Therefore, Krishna is screening very well. Therefore, in Vaikuntha, there are gatekeepers. They don't let anybody just come in. And if we are not pure in heart, we have no entrance into Vaikuntha, what to speak of Goloka. Why? Because we would just create a disturbance. Right? Everybody is in full love with the Lord. Akama, without material desires. Akama sarvo kamo va. Beautiful verse. Akama, no material desires. And that, of course, also akarma, without any material reaction. In opposition to vikarma, sinful activities with a very bad reaction. So there in Vaikuntha and in Goloka, devotees that they don't have any selfish, material desire means selfish desire. They don't have any selfish desires. Their only desires are completely satisfied just by serving Krishna. Right? So if someone who is not fully purified is permitted into the spiritual world, he just creates a disturbance. It's just like having a beautiful sweet rice and there is some sand in the sweet rice. It's not enjoyable. So if we have material desires while let's think of the verse. The gopis serving Krishna in full love and we coming there up in the spiritual world and we showing some lusty desires towards the gopis or anything like that, God forbid, then that would disturb the whole atmosphere for Krishna and for everyone else. Therefore, Vaikuntha, they are gatekeepers and the screening is there. Nobody with even a pinch of material desires, selfish desires for themselves. That's a misconception. We think if I fulfill my selfish desires, I will become happy. We'll never become happy. For millions of lifetimes we can try and never become happy. And we have already tried for millions of lifetimes to become happy by satisfying our senses. Something nice to eat, nice to see, nice to hear, nice to touch. No, it just doesn't happen. There is some relief of tension to the most, and even some satisfaction for a short time, and then it turns over again into dissatisfaction. And we recently spoke about that the senses become never satiated in the material realm. They want always more, always something different, something fresh, something this, that. It's not that we satisfy the eyes with seeing some beautiful material form and then the eyes are satisfied for the next 100 years. No, they may be satisfied for 5 minutes. The tongue's the same. The tongue always wants to taste nice food stuff, nice different tastes, not even the same tastes. The same tastes over and over again will become dissatisfactory. So we have varieties of taste, but even then, it's just not, we're not becoming satiated. But if we connect with the spiritual potency and we developing our spiritual senses, yes, there's something like spiritual senses. Our present senses can be purified, they become spiritualized. And we can even say they are becoming spiritual senses. Spiritual senses means everything is connected with Krishna. Then say it's ever fresh and new on the spiritual platform. Hare Krishna. Let's go a little bit further. One should know, therefore, that the Lord is never on the level of the living beings who are but expansion of his marginal potency, and one should never equalize the potent and the potency. Also, there is very little difference of quality between the potent and the potency. The queens were also expansions of his internal potency, and thus the potent and the potency are perpetually exchanging transcendental pleasures, known as pastimes of the Lord. One should not, therefore, become astonished to learn that the Lord married so many wives. On the contrary, one should affirm that even if the Lord marries 16,000 million wives, he is not completely manifesting his unlimited and inexhaustible potency. He married only 16,000 wives and entered in each and every one of the different palaces, just to impress in the history of the human beings on the surface of the earth that the Lord is never equal to or less than any human being, however powerful he may be. No one, therefore, is either equal nor greater than the Lord. The Lord is always great in all respects. God is great, is eternal truth. Well, that is very interesting, very nice, just to show that he is the Supreme Personality. He expanded himself into 16,000 forms. Therefore, as soon as the queen saw from a distance her husband, who was away from home for long periods due to the battle of Kurukshetra, they all arose from the slumber of meditation and prepared to receive the most beloved. According to Yajnavalkya's religious injunctions, the women whose husband is away from home should not take part in any social functions, should not decorate her body, should not laugh, and should not go to any relative's house in any circumstances. This is a vow of the ladies whose husbands are away from home. At the same time, it is also enjoined that a wife should never present herself before the husband in an unclean state. She must decorate herself with ornaments and good dress, and should always be present before the husband in a happy and joyous mood. The queens of Lord Krishna were all in meditation, thinking of the Lord's absence, and were always meditating upon him. The Lord's devotees cannot live for a moment without meditating on the Lord. And what to speak of the queens who were all goddesses of fortune, incarnated as queens in the pastimes of the Lord at Dwarka. They can never be separated from the Lord, either by the presence or by either by presence or by trance. The gopis at Vrindavan could not forget the Lord when the Lord was away in the forest cowherding. When the Lord, boy Krishna, was absent from the village, the gopis at home used to worry about him traversing the rough ground with his soft lotus feet. By thinking thus, they were sometimes overwhelmed in trance and mortified in the heart. Such is a condition of the pure associates of the Lord. They are always in trance, and so the queens were in trance during the absence of the Lord. Presently, having seen the Lord from a distance, they at once gave up all their engagements, including the vows of woman as described above. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there was a regular psychological reaction on the occasion. First of all, rising from their seats, although they wanted to see their husbands, they were deterred because of feminine shyness. But due to strong ecstasy, they overcame that stage of weakness and became caught up with the idea of embracing the Lord. And this thought factually made them unconscious of their surrounding environment. This prime state of ecstasy annihilated all other formalities and social conventions, and thus they escaped all stumbling blocks on the path of meeting the Lord. And that is a perfect stage of meeting the Lord of the soul, Sri Krishna. Oh, that was a long purport. Any questions? Any comments? Anyone? There's a lot of wonderful points there. Nalini Mataji, any question? Or is it all clear?
No, Prabhuji, it is very beautiful. It was very beautiful to listen to that.
Yes.
I haven't got any question.
So what we're taking away from this is that we never, ever should think of Krishna to be an ordinary living entity. We don't, but that is a warning. And that the Lord his opulences are so great, he comes down to this material world in his original spiritual form. Or in his incarnation. Yes?
Oh, Prabhuji, the other thing is that, you know how there are lots of people claiming to be gods at the moment. Now, this tells us that we can turn around to these people and say, if you can expand into 16,108 selves, then we will bow down to you that you are God. So this is
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and manifest your universal form as Arjuna has seen it on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
And the
if you can do that, okay, that is a test.
Yeah, then I will bow down to them and say, yes, you are God.
Yes. So what Srila Prabhupada also mentioned, if anyone comes and fools the common people by producing a gold chain in his hand, seemingly out of nothing. What is that? What's a gold chain? You can go into a jewelry shop and buy a gold chain. That is not, let him produce a gold mine. That would be something else.
But Prabhuji, the other thing is that these gold chains that were being given out were only for the rich people, not for people like you and me who haven't got the chains to give and then to be returned. Or a golden egg coming out of your mouth. Prabhuji, if you can do that, I will bow down to you as God.
Hare Krishna. No proper devotee will ever declare himself as an avatar or have his disciples declaring himself as an avatar. That is a poor fund of knowledge. You don't know what is an avatar. You don't know what is Krishna here. 16,000 queens, 16,000 expansion, universal form, and so on and so on. So yes, so anyone with a little bit of knowledge can immediately see who is a cheater and who is genuine. So devotees always, never a devotee will say, a Vaishnava will say, I am God. Never, ever. Will say, I'm the servant of God. That even there we can. If someone is not clearly saying, I'm the servant of God, that we identify ourselves, das, 1,000 times removed. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of God. Right? And first of all, we're the servant of our spiritual master. And he is a servant of God. So we're the servant of the servant, at least. So that is a mood of a devotee. But a puffed up materialist, that's a different story. Okay, anything else? Or shall we move on one more verse and then we'll have a quiz. A quiz. So stay with us, Pragnesh, Nalini, Vaishana Mataji. We'll have a nice quiz, a general quiz. To make a quiz on the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam at the moment on these verses is not very easy. I'll try. Because you have to find a good question and you have to find some 4 answers. And one of them has to be right. Or it has to be a 2-choice, correct or not correct. So, okay, one more verse. I would ask you, Vaishana Mataji, because my throat is already getting dry, and Rashmi has also a dry throat, and Nalini Mataji has just read us a verse with very nice Sanskrit. So would you mind of reading us text 32 for all the devotees present here? How is that, Vaishana Kishori Mataji?
Yes, okay, Prabhu. Just going to go back to the screen. I've just unmuted and now I need to go all the way back.
Yes, good. Thank you very much. Go all the way back home to Godhead.
So quick. You wish.
Back home.
Right, so we're going to be on 32, right?
We are on 32, that's right. Okay. Starting with tam.
Oops, just have to scroll. Right, yes, nearly there. Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Tam atmajir drishtibir antaratmana durunta bhava parire bhire patim nirudham api aswara dambu netrayor vilajati nam briguvarya vaiklavat. Translation. The insuperable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But, O chief amongst the Brigus, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears. Purport by His Grace Srila Prabhupada.
His divine grace.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Right? His divine grace, not his grace.
Divine grace. Although due to feminine shyness, there were many hindrances to embracing the dear husband, Lord Shri Krishna, the queens performed that act by seeing him, by putting him in the cause of their hearts, and by sending their sons to embrace him. Still, the act remained unfinished, and tears rolled down their cheeks, despite all endeavors to check them. One indirectly embraces the husband by sending the son to embrace him, because the son is developed as part of the mother's body. The embrace of the son is not exactly the embrace of husband and wife from the sexual point of view, but the embrace is satisfaction from the affectionate point of view. The embrace of the eyes is more effective in the conjugal relation. And thus, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, there is nothing wrong in such an exchange of feeling between husband and wife.
Hare Krishna. Nice. Nice. Is there anything to be said about that? What strikes you?
Well, just, I think in the olden days, there was a lot of respect when it talks about the sons embracing Krishna. And it was making a point that, because it was, the son is from the mother as well, it's almost the same. I think it's just saying about embracing very respectfully.
Yes, it's beautiful. Beautiful culture, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Respect and some distance. Otherwise, if one gets too familiar, then things going downhill. That's a good thing for everyone to know. If relationship, even in the marriage, gets too familiar, it will only be a cause of disaster and argument and all of that. In the olden days, the wife was, and the husband also, were never addressed with their first names. Hey, Nilesh, when we going to do shopping? No, it was Patti. Patti, when we going Sainsbury? So it was a little bit removed. It was just to ward off the over familiarity. And that is a beautiful thing, because if that breeds respect. Because even in a household relationship, in a married relationship, the respects go down. Respect goes down, then that is very difficult to get that back. And familiarity breeds contempt.
Prabhuji, can I say something here? In the olden days in India, because families lived together and the wives were doing the work in the kitchen and whatever, cooking and cleaning, and the husbands were going out to work. The husbands and the wives never got a chance to talk during the daytime. Like if they came to have a meal, the brothers or the father, everybody, they sat down and ate together, and the women ate together. So the husband and wife never really had that kind of contact that we have now. And in some area, I remember my mom's father, my mom's mom used to do the, take out, the sari, and she used to cover her head when she saw my grandfather.
Yes.
And I used to find that very strange, but that now I can see the sense behind it. It was a mark of respect. And the way my grandfather used to address her as well, with respect. We don't see that. It's too much contact with each other, like you say.
We don't say that we don't see that. Any cultured family will keep this kind of respect alive. But there are not so many cultured family, because the TV influence, and look what's happening now with the younger generation, and there is absolutely, it goes down to animal life. So, but the cultural, the higher class families, they will still do like that, or even aristocratic families. But mostly everybody is just Shudra. Shudra means it's just the goal of life is gratifying the senses. That's all. Yes, this is very, very nice cultural tradition. Vaishana Mataji.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just going to say we still have it in our family that if I go to Loughborough now, and we've got brothers and sisters and everybody, but the men will sit together and have their meal first, and we ladies will have the meal later on. It's just something, we've had because it's quite a big family. But it's nice, the respect is still there. We still have that laugh, but, the distance is there.
And you wouldn't fit everyone, the man and the woman, together on one table anyway, would you?
Well, yes. So that's just carried on.
So it's a very practical arrangement.
Yeah, and especially if an uncle and aunt or somebody turns up, then, my sister-in-laws will not be going and, sit down next to my brothers. They will just, there'll be a distance, definitely.
Yes,
So,
nice. Thank
just
you.
respect. We still have that old tradition in our families. I
Yes,
suppose
many
the new
families still
generations
have
are
that.
coming in now, and when the kids are around, I suppose the behavior, we just let the children mix now.
That creates other problems, yes. Okay, here we stop. Thank you very much, Vaishnav Mataji and everyone else. Let's do a quiz. Let's do a quiz. So let me see how I get this up and running. Hosting the quiz.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I will have to leave.
Oh no, you must be in the quiz. Give it 10 minutes.
No, Prabhuji, I need to leave. I'm very tired.
The quiz will wake you up. 10 minutes. It's not a long time.
No, Prabhuji, I don't want to participate. I'm very, very tired. I've got a bad headache.
Oh no.
I need to stop. I need to do my rounds now and go to bed.
Oh no, that is not very good for us. Bhakti Yoga one, that's a quiz. Well, you do what you have to do. So let's have, you have your mobile, you have to go to kahoo.it. I'll put it on the screen in just a minute.
Nalini Mataji, you'll be joining us? Because you didn't join us last time.
I couldn't join in because I didn't know. I'm not a very technical minded. I will try. I don't mind.
Yes,
Oh,
try.
I will try.
So
Good.
I will share. Did you get an invitation in the chat? Can anyone say if they got an invitation in the chat for Kahoo or not?
Well, what, just now? Are you talking about now?
Yes.
No, Prabhuji.
Yes.
No, nothing.
No, there's nothing in
Okay,
the chat. No.
that feature doesn't work. I will post it here. So it says here in the chat, go to www.kahoo.it. You may have to just even click on it if it's blue, and you have to put the pin in 7287948.
Prabhuji,
Right?
it's not in blue and it's not clicking.
So you can remember that. Sorry for that. It's not in blue. It's not clicking. Put in www. You don't even need that. Kahoot. If you put in your browser, Nalini Mataji browser where you looking for web pages.
We're just going to Google.
Or go to Google, look for kahoot.it. KAHOOT.it. Not difficult to remember. You don't need the www. Kahoot.it. And click on that link and it asks you a game pin. Nalini Mataji, are you getting that? We really want you in the game this time. Nalini Mataji, are you there? I want to hear from you. Pragnesh is there. Well done, Pragnesh. Don't go away, Nalini Mataji. We'll get you sorted.
Okay, Prabhuji, just 1 minute. I will write down the pin numbers because I can't remember. It's
I
evening.
can say the pin number. I can help you. keep your microphone on. Once you at kahoot.it, and then I will spell out the PIN number for you. That will be
But
easy. You don't have.
I think I lost you when.
Yes, can happen.
Okay, Prabhuji, give me the numbers, please.
7,
Yeah,
2, 8,
yeah,
7, 9,
yeah.
4, 8.
Okay.
7, 2, 8, 7, 9, 4, 8.
Okay, Prabhuji, I'm going to give it a try because I did manage to get into Kahoot, but
Yes.
I didn't remember the
PIN. Yes.
PIN number. So I'm going to give it a try.
Yes, enter, and it will show up on my screen if you're there or not.
Okay.
Yes, Pragnesh, 728 7948.
So
We're still missing you.
728. Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. 728 7948.
It didn't allow me. 728. It hasn't allowed me, Prabhuji. I don't know.
No, you have to put the right number. You're at kahoot.it,
Yes.
and it says put the PIN number.
Yes.
728. Start off again. Delete it and put again. 728.
728. And then I enter.
79. No, you don't enter. It's a long number.
Oh, and then
7948.
48.
That's a complete number. Yes.
And then it
728 is not enough.
It says enter a nickname to continue.
Yes, just say your name.
Nalini. Nalini.
Just put Nalini in.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
Prabhuji.
you should appear. There you are. Don't leave. You are in. Welcome. Ooh, that was not.
No,
That was easy, isn't it?
No, it was a bit painful, Prabhuji, but it's okay. I mean,
Well done.
Okay.
Well done.
Everybody is here. Now I will share this screen. Can you see the screen? You don't have to go to Zoom, but after the game is finished, you come back to Zoom to honor the players. So we have Nalini, we have Vaishana and Pragnesh. Are you ready to start?
Yes.
Yes, here we go. What is the next level of
so
Krishna
Prabhuji, what is,
consciousness?
so you have to pick one answer, is it?
You have to click on one of the answers, which you think is right.
Oh, I missed
There's a
that.
limited time. You have 3 seconds left. Okay, we got 2 answers here. And that was right. Sadhu Sangha, Association of Devotees. That was the right answer. Right, so we know how it goes. So quicker you react, so more points you get.
Okay.
So right now we have Vaishana, the most points with 780 points, followed by Pragnesh. And Nalini, you missed it because you have to be quite quick.
Yeah.
Because there's a timer, and that timer runs out. And when that goes to 0, then you missed it. Next, let's try this one. Who was the spiritual master of Bilva Mangalam Thakur? Pick your answer. We spoke about it.
No.
Isn't it? We spoke about it.
It says, I've got an incorrect answer, Prabhuji. It says incorrect.
Yes, because you missed last session. That's why. Hare Krishna. Chintamani, the prostitute. We had that story. Chintamani is a prostitute. He visited her regularly. He wasn't a devotee. He was a materialist, enjoyer. And one day he wanted to see her, and it was storming, it was raining, it was a terrible weather. And he had to cross a river and so many things. And she has thought, he's not coming. Bilva Mangala is not coming tonight with that kind of weather. But he was so attracted to her. So he went through all of that. He knocked on the door. She was surprised. Bilva Mangala, are you coming to me? You're so much attracted by me, by a woman. I'm nothing. If you would have even a fraction of that attraction to Krishna, you would become a beautiful devotee. So she told him that, and he took that to heart. And he became a devotee. He became a very wonderful Vaishnava, and you saw that picture. Bilva Mangala Thakur is very famous. He was later on, he was blind, and there's a whole story of that as well. Well, okay, here is a story. Then he went after Chintamani, put him on the path of Krishna consciousness. The prostitute, she was a prostitute, but she was Krishna conscious to that extent. So he accepted her later on in his writings. He honors her as his spiritual master. Right? Just see her. Whoever helps us in Krishna consciousness. So then he came on his way to Vrindavan. He had all intention of controlling his sex desire, controlling his senses. So he saw a beautiful woman here. And again, his habits and his senses took over, and he followed her and to her house, and she was a wife of a Brahmin. And she said to her husband, this man is following me, is attracted by me, and what shall I do? And he wants to embrace me. And the husband said, let him embrace you. And then she agreed to that. And then Bilva Mangala, he realized just in time, that again he has been misled, be dragged away by his senses. And he said, my dear lady, could you just give me your hairpin? And she said, what do you need my hairpin for? No, just don't ask, just give me the hairpin. And she gave him the hairpin, and he blinded himself in both eyes, because he said, these eyes are useless. These eyes are dragging me to enjoy beautiful women, but I want to become Krishna conscious. Of course, that is, we don't need to imitate that. There is no need for that. We can control our eyes in many other ways by just increasing our spiritual side of consciousness. So then he was blind. Then he went to Vrindavan and he was begging. One day, a young boy came, and he supplied him with milk, and he couldn't see. And eventually it turned out that young boy was Krishna himself. Krishna himself took care of his devotee. By then he had become a pure devotee. Just singing, and there are many songs of Bilva Mangala Thakur, and with his instrument, which you saw on the slide, and he was just praising the Lord, and Krishna came personally and served him milk. So that's the story behind. So it was not Gopal, not Vyasadeva or Chitraketu. We shall remember the spiritual master of Bilva Mangala Thakur is Chintamani, the prostitute. Next. Pragnesh, you have overtaken Varshana quite by a bit. Next question. Ready? Be quick. The Gita is all about what? I would hope so. Nobody gets that wrong. It is all about 2-3 answers we have out of the Gita is about devotional service, of course, only. The Gita is not about karma yoga. Who said it was about karma yoga? That's a misconception. There's a chapter about karma yoga. There's a chapter about jnana yoga. And the Gita is not becoming pious. That's not the aim of the Gita, to become pious. Pious may help us to understand the Gita, Pious means if we are pious, we're going to the heavenly planets. So Gita is all, that's an important question. And we should remember that. Bhagavad Gita is all about devotional service, means bhakti yoga. It's not about karma yoga, jnana yoga, or becoming pious. Not at all. So, Pragnesh, you got that wrong, I believe so, or you were late, because Varshana has reached the top position. Let's go to the next. Sattva guna and tama guna. What is missing? Sattva, tama. That is easy. The three gunas. Yeah. Still someone got it wrong. Sattva mukti, no, it's not mukti. It's raja guna. There's three gunas. Sattva guna, raja guna, and tama guna. Sattva means a mode of goodness, raja guna, passion, and tama guna means ignorance. Okay, Vaishnav Mataji, you're still on top. Last time you didn't come on top, but this time you're doing pretty well. Next, ready. That's a verse in the Gita. Aponalo vayu. Apon. Bhumir. Yes, Bhumir aponalo vayu. What does it mean? What is Bhumir? Who can say? Earth, yes. Earth. Apo, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the material elements which our body is made of. Earth, water, fire, air, and it becomes more subtle, more subtle, more subtle, more subtle. Earth is, everything comes from the earth, and then from the earth comes earth, water comes, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and the ego, the false ego. Right, so mano is mind. Mind is a finer element. Bhumir aponalo vayu. Mind, mano, comes then, not at the beginning. Okay? And vayu comes later on as well. Next. Pragnesh is pretty close behind you, Vaishnav Mataji. Always think of me. Man manabhava mad bhakto. What is it? What is the right order?
Oh, no.
Become my devotee is right. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer obeisances unto me. If we do that, Krishna says, surely you will come to me. Remember me. Always think of me, remember me is the same thing. That's not. The verse could very well say, remember me, become my devotee, worship me, offer obeisance. So this is important. That's an important verse in Bhagavad Gita. 18th chapter, text 65, just before Sarvadhamam Parityaja. So we shall remember that. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer obeisances. 4 things is Krishna asking only. Only 4 things. To always think of him, to become his devotee, worship him, and offer our obeisances or dandavats to him. Hare Krishna. Vaishnav Mataji, something went wrong. Pragnesh is ahead of you now. Something went wrong here. You got misled. These other answers are misleading purposefully. Next. Param Brahma, Param Dharma. Who spoke this verse? Bhagavad Gita verse. We have spoken about it many times. This quiz is a little bit more on the difficult side. Therefore, Rashmi would have been good in that. Hey, yes, Arjuna spoke this. He said, you are the supreme Brahman, Param Brahma. You are the supreme abode. So this is a very important verse also. Arjuna spoke this verse. It wasn't Kunti. It wasn't Krishna. We need to know our Bhagavad Gita. Pragnesh, I'm sorry, just Varshana overtook you again. It's a very close race. Nalini, you also not far away. Next. 3 manifestations of the Lord. Brahman, Paramatma, and we have heard that a million times. So 3 aspects of realizing the absolute truth. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Not Parampara. Who said Parampara? Parampara is a disciplic succession. It is completely, has nothing to do with Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Hare Krishna. Okay. 9 out of 14. What comes after mukti? That is an important question. What comes after mukti? Because there are many misconceptions. Okay, pure devotional service. Well, someone says Ashtanga Yoga. No, Ashtanga Yoga. That is dealt with in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. After mukti, after liberation. What does liberation mukti mean? There is that verse in Bhagavad Gita. I can't recall it now. Brahma Bhuta Prasamatma, the Kangshati Nasochati. That's a Brahma Bhuta stage, mukti, Brahma Bhuta stage, where na Kangshati Nasochati. There is no lamentation and there's no hankering. Just imagine if we free of lamentation, we're always lamenting. Something bad happens to us and the weather or this or that, there's always some lamentation, isn't it? It's not that we can accept everything what comes as the Lord's mercy, good or bad. We can't, because we are not liberated. And there is no hankering as well. Na shochati, na kangshati. We always hanker of something better. We always lament of something in the past and hanker of something in the future. But if we, on the platform of mukti, of liberation, we are not influenced. There's no hankering, there is no lamenting. That is a Brahma Buddha platform. That is mukti. But many people think after mukti, that's the end of the story. No, it's not. After mukti comes pure devotional service. Because after mukti means we are free from the 3 modes of material nature. Free of tamagun, of ignorance, free of passion, rajagun, and free of goodness also. Devotional service is sattvagun, pure goodness, transcendental. So Ashtanga Yoga, that is something very different. Next. Ten out of 14. How many years does Kali Yuga last? Oh, wow, here we go.
Oh, God.
Altogether, not how much is left, how much does it altogether last? Numbers.
Oh, I got
Yes, 132,000. Was it a guess? Or you heard that somewhere before? 132,000 years. I'm happy nobody says 127,000 years, because Kali Yuga started 5,000 years ago. So 132,000 minus 5,000 comes to 127,000. Therefore, I said there are 127,000 years left till Kalki Avatar will come. But altogether, Kali Yuga lasts 132,000 years. And the 164,000, 1 million, that is just speculation. Next. Nalini, you have moved just ahead of Pragnesh. Wow.
No.
Yes, Hare Krishna. And Nalini has the highest answer streak of 3, it says here. So that means you have got 3 answers right in one streak. Very good. Hare Krishna. Pragnesh, you have to try harder and quicker. Okay, 11 out of 14. Oh, that's a difficult one. Who said Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda? It means you fools, just worship Govinda. Don't forget your grammatical word juggleries. Just worship Govinda. At the end of his life, That's what he said. Who was that personality? Was it Narada Muni, Lord Chaitanya, Shankaracharya, or Krishna? Yes, it was Shankaracharya. It wasn't Lord Chaitanya, no. The Shankaracharya who promoted the impersonal view throughout his life. And the Mayavadis are following Shankaracharya. The impersonalists following Shankaracharya. But at the end of his life, and of course, Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. At the end, he said, Bacha Govinda, Bacha Govinda, Bacha Govinda Mutamate. You fools, you're just doing your world jugglery and your grammatical and interpreting in an impersonal way. Just worship Govinda, worship Govinda as Krishna. So that is Vaishnava. So we shall remember that Shankaracharya promoted Vaishnava doctrine at the end. Okay, Nalini, you're still in second place. Next, true or false? For those who have exclusive devotion, Krishna carries what they like and preserves what they have. Yes or no? True or false? Krishna provides our chapatis. True or false? True. Everybody gets that right. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Everybody gets that right. Krishna says, Ananya Chintayanto Mam. For those who have exclusive devotion to me, who worship me, those who worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Krishna is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. And there's a famous story in Bhagavad Gita where the Brahmin, poor, very, very poor, and he saw that in Bhagavad Gita and he thinks, how is it possible? We are very poor. Krishna is not providing with us, and certainly not personally. There must be a mistake. He crossed it out with a red pen. And then he took his bath, and in the meantime, a beautiful boy came with lots of beautiful fruits and vegetables and rice and milk and butter and ghee and everything. And he said, your husband sent me to bring you this to the wife. She said, what? We are very poor. My husband, where he gets it from? No, I'm his disciple. She said, no, my husband doesn't have disciples. Yeah, he sent me, I should bring you that. And she said, come sit down and eat. He said, no, I'm afraid your husband will beat me again. I said, what, my husband beat you? He never beat anybody. Yeah, look. And he put his shirt up and there were streaks, red streaks on his back. You see, your husband has beaten me. And then the boy disappeared. The husband came home and said, what happened here? Where did you get all these eatables from? Her? I was trying to beg all day long and nobody gave me anything. Everybody has excuses. Oh, there is a death in the family. There is this, there's that. And so I didn't get anything here. And then she told him the whole story. And then he lamented. He could understand. Krishna personally came and provided. Personally, he came and provided. So, beautiful story. We shall remember her. Krishna is providing for those who have exclusive devotion. If we don't have exclusive devotion, that is another story. So, but if we want, instead of working very hard, that Krishna will provide and preserve, then we'll have to develop that exclusive devotion. And if you come regularly to our Saturday and Wednesday program, we'll show you how to develop exclusive devotion. Okay, we're going towards the end of the quiz. True or false? If you are serious, that is real initiation. True or false? That's interesting. Let's see what comes out. Oh, it's equally split. True. One says true, one says false. No, it is true. Srila Prabhupada said that. Of course, serious means we'll have to follow the principles and chant our 16 rounds. But if we are serious, that is real initiation. My touch, Srila Prabhupada is saying, is just formality. Here we go. Hare Krishna. Vaishana Mataji had a winning streak, 3 in a row, it says here, and you're still on top. So, last question. How did the deities of Sri Sri Radha Londonishwara, our deities in London, how did they come to London? That's interesting. Let's see what you're making out of that.
Oh,
By transcendental theft. Nobody gets that, right? You wouldn't have thought that, would you? And I will read you that story. I hope I can find it. By transcendental. We have spoken about that story actually before. That is not new. Oh, where is that? How can I get to that screen? Okay. No, I can't. Let's go out of the... now you go back to Zoom to honor the players, and then I'll tell you the story if I find it. Are you back into Zoom? Let me know.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes? What about you, Vaishana Mataji? Are you back into Zoom?
yeah, just come now.
Ragnesh, are you back into Zoom?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So you can see the screen of the last question. So let's click next and see what happens. Ragnesh, Nalini. Woo, Vaishana Mataji. Isn't that nice?
Thank
With
you.
9 out of 14. 5 out of 14, 5 out of... You equal, Pragnesh and Nalini, you got 5 out of 14 right, but Nalini was a little bit quicker, I guess so, because she has 4,553 points and you have 3,958. Okay, that was that. Now we'll be back in Zoom. Quit the game and back into Zoom.
That was exciting. Thank you.
That was exciting, yes, because you got the winning streak, right?
First time.
First time, yes. Well, here you go. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Did you like that, everyone? Nalini Mataji, do you like that?
Yes, Prabhuji. Good
Do
learning.
you see what good learning? Actually, it is good learning.
Yeah.
Because you will, I'm sure you will remember, if you come across that Chintamani, the prostitute, was Bilva Mangala's Thakur's spiritual master. Remember that story? And you will also remember that Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, even that much. Not difficult to remember Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda. That Shankaracharya was teaching Vaishnava philosophy at the end of his days. Even though he has done the Mayavad philosophy before. Yeah.
Because I thought he was impersonalist and he was
yes, but he turned into,
Yeah.
he said, the big impersonalist Shankaracharya said, worship Govinda, you fool, sir. To his disciples, you fool, sir. You're just doing this impersonalist grammatical word jugglery. Just worship Govinda. So good learning. Yes, with these quizzes. This is not a small thing to make a quiz. It takes hours to come up with some sensible question and then to pitch the questions at what we possibly know. A good mixture of difficult and easy questions that we don't get too discouraged. Okay, that's it for tonight. And we have exhausted our time. And do come. There is a lot of fun here, Pragnesh. Do come regularly. Why not? Set your priorities. Spiritual life is important.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Yes, Hare Krishna. We'll see you back for Bhagavad Gita on Wednesday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. Thank you for coming, Pragnesh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Great Harish Bhai from me.
He sends his regards to you, Prabhuji. I was speaking about you this week. Yeah, we were speaking about you this week, and apologies about not being so present. But I always see the things, and I always mean to attend. That's like when we come to Leicester, the intention is always there. No, the attraction is always there. That's why we always surprise you when we attend, because you're thinking these boys have forgotten me, but we never forget. It's just when Krishna allows the opportunity. But very nice program. The quiz was very lovely at the end. That really kept people involved, which is very lovely.
Yes, that's what we want.
And the reading, it was a very well structured, and the Zoom, because I remember when you first started off, you were on another platform which was just audio, Skype. You were using Skype, and now you've really excelled. So it's really nice, very beautiful. Thank you for the association, Prabhuji. Everything is evolving, Pragnesh, as you can see. Now we are on video, and we have from time to time some guest speakers. We had Siddhanta Prabhu, who has compiled all the memories of Prabhupada disciples, these beautiful stories. It's on our YouTube channel. So we have another guest speaker in the pipeline in late December, early January, which is Shruta Kirti Prabhu. He was a very close disciple of Srila Prabhupada, personal secretary, massaging Srila Prabhupada, and has loads of beautiful stories. So if we can get him to be our guest speaker somewhere in late December, then don't miss that. So we have some guest speakers once a month, and otherwise we're studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam with a quiz, and we have a Bhagavad Gita with a quiz every Wednesday as well. Really, we have just finished first chapter, not reading her. We just highlight the main points and the concepts and the development of the thought of Bhagavad Gita. Now, next session on Wednesday, we tackle the second chapter with key verses. It would take too long to read every text, so we just having some markers there. Yeah, you're doing a very lovely thing. Yes, I'll try, but you're doing a lovely thing. You're maintaining the association, which is very good. And in the current climate with COVID and so on, people are getting lazy as well. So
very lazy. People getting distracted and lazy, and secretly I think, Krishna, another lockdown will bring people together. It is true. No, it is true. If we lock down, we are 50% of our business. I'm busy. I have to do this duties. Will go immediately away, and people have more time for spiritual life.
You're doing a very lovely service, and don't stop doing it, because I think it's easy to forget when you get into material life about spiritual importance, and you keep, because it'd be very easy for you to say people are not interested, they're not associating, I won't continue this service. But you're doing your life service, Prabhuji, and it's very beautiful that you're maintaining it to another medium, and it's very, very well done. I mean, they're very professional. This is
until the day I leave this body, Pragnesh.
But then you're guaranteed, not muksha, but basically guaranteed to go to the right place. Because if you're doing this as your life mission, you can't do a better service for.
My aspiration would be actually to be with Srila Prabhupada and preaching somewhere on some planet. That I would be quite satisfied with that.
That'll come for sure. But basically, all of your beautiful service that you're doing now, so those blessings will always go with you. Because people come here, they make money, they do their material duties, but they don't. They don't realize that they forget what's important, and that's very easy in the material world. Very easy.
Yes, it's very easy. If I can touch you to that degree that you even sometimes come here and you sometimes remember what is actually important in this life, then I'm satisfied. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, you achieved that without a doubt, Prabhuji, because I'm still here and I still maintain,
Yes.
I'm, there was no, there was, it was only through my own desire and then just the opportunity, the desire is there. It was just sometimes the opportunity. When the temples reopen again, I think that should also be nice to have personal association. And
there is no excuse, sir. The temple is 30 miles away. The computer is 2 meters away. So there is no excuse, sir. Actually, my aspiration would be to see you every Saturday without fail.
Okay, well, let's work towards that aspiration. But you touched me, and that's why I'm here. So let me give you that one at least. And
Okay.
yeah. And all right. Let's not forget Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.